Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So listen. Oh, let me do a quick mic check. Don't go nowhere so you can. Oh, okay. We're being crazy. Crazy way to start the pod. But somebody just asked me. They was like, "Is this a podcast?" Let me tell you a little bit something about this podcast. So yesterday I was walking around Dallas and I ran into a young lady and her sisters because I was walking down the street and down this street there was a bunch of restaurants. It's a bunch of stuff going on in this area, right? So I walked up to this French restaurant. They had like some desserts, and I just wanted to see what they had. And this young lady was in there with her sisters, and the young lady, she, got the whispering or whatever the case may be, and I kind of got the notion that they was either about to flirt with me, whatever the case may be. But the young lady was like, "Do you make those TikToks?" I say, yes, I am the person who makes the TikToks. Thank you so much for noticing me. That's what I always say whenever people notice me, because I don't feel like I'm a famous person at all. I really, truly do not believe that. I think that I'm just a normal person. So when people notice me, it be kind of like, that's crazy. But nonetheless, they just introduced themselves. They were very sweet, very polite. The big sister is usually the bolder one. And she was like, "Do you go to church?" And I was like, I do go to church occasionally. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily like a person who has like a church home, but I do go to church occasionally and I enjoy it and I do believe in God. Um, so she was like, "Okay, cool. Well, I want you to meet my father," right? Her dad was there. "I want you to meet my dad. He's the pastor of our church. We've had this church for about like 8 to 10 months, whatever the case may be. We're building it, we're growing it. It's growing at a rapid pace. We recognize what you do in your spare time, and we would love for you to be somebody who comes through and be a part of the church." So dad stands up, walks to me, and me and him start chopping it up, and me and him start talking. Now, mind you, the dad doesn't know me. You know what I'm saying? Like the dad isn't on TikTok. The dad doesn't see any of my videos, whatever the case may be. And me and him are having a conversation, but the conversation was just like a dope conversation between two men. You know what I'm saying? Like a really dope conversation between two men. And he was basically telling me, like, he would love for me to come by the church. He would love for me to be a part of the church. He rocks with like my style and my swag. He would love for me to be a part of their young adult ministry that they're still kind of building, right? So now there's some responsibility attached to something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, I was like, "Listen, man, take down my number." They was handing out flyers. "Give me the flyer," you know what I'm saying, "and we'll figure it out." So when I walked away, like two stores down, it was a clothing store. I walked inside of the clothing store. I walked around for a little bit. And when I came out, the pastor was standing outside of the building. And he was like, "Hey, man, you don't mind if I talk to you for about 2 more seconds?" I was like, "Absolutely not, man. Let's talk." What happened was that the sister showed the pastor my videos now. So now he is up to speed on who I am and what I do and what I talk about. And he was just asking me, he was like, "Man, I just got to ask, you feel me? Because, my daughter follows you. She keeps up with you. She's a fan of you. She also said that you took 3 months off of not posting and not pouring into this brand that you have. And I just kind of wanted to see why." And I told him the real. I said, I took a real life mental health break. I took a break to realign my spirit because the fact of the matter is that you cannot speak anything without your spirit and your heart being aligned, because anything that comes out of your mouth is coming from your heart. That's facts. So if anybody says something to you that you don't like, or anybody says something to you and you thinking of not charging it to their heart, charge it to their heart, because it wouldn't have came out if they didn't feel that way. Like if they didn't feel that way, it wouldn't have came out. But nonetheless, I was just telling them about, like, I took a little mental health break. I was just getting my mind right. And also in that time, I started pouring into my other craft, which is project management. Project management actually pays me. It keeps the lights on. Like, I'm a really good project manager. That's what I do at a very, very high level outside of, speaking and doing the whole, content creation thing. And he was like, "Man, I think that what you're doing is God sent. Like, that's something that God put you here to do. And I would really, really love if you poured into that more. And with that being said, I want to introduce you to some people this upcoming week, Easter Sunday. I want to introduce you to some people who I believe can get behind what you have going on. We can kind of push the needle and get you back going." And I appreciated that, because already before that, I was already having conversations about actually getting back in front of the camera, actually trying my best to be who I know I am. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, it's so hard to be who you want to be when you're also thinking about who you used to be, and you're still stuck on who you used to be, and you're trying to have that be your like fourth and fifth floor when that's supposed to be your foundation. Like that's what it was meant for. You know what I'm saying? Who you used to be was meant to be your foundation. It wasn't meant to be your fifth floor, your sixth floor, your seventh floor. You feel me? It's not meant to be what is being built. It's supposed to be the foundation. And a lot of times people subscribe to their old way of thinking, and they think that that old way of thinking applies to where we're at today. That's why we have Jordan versus LeBron debates. That's why we have the old school versus the new school debates. That's why we have the debates that we have that always compares where things were built, like what the core of things were, like when the foundational, the rules and the regulations and the morals and the principles come from. We always stick to those, and we don't ever evolve, we don't ever grow, we don't ever change to become who we want to be in the future. So then conversations between the Michael Jordan and LeBron, people who recognize that there are, things do evolve, you know what I'm saying? Like things do grow, things do change, but they change for the better. They change for the better, and it's like both parties have equal importance to this game. And it's like me, I started communicating with my old self, and my old self started really, really telling my new self what is necessary for me to thrive in this new environment. Um, with that, also some conversations with some people around me, and I ain't gonna lie, in all honesty, I just flipped the switch and I was like, you know what? Like, let me start putting effort forth. Who was I in 2024? And what was I doing in 2024 that I can be doing right now, but just with this new spin on it, with this new like 2025 Maciano, this new intellect, this new person who I am. And today I dropped a video. You know what I'm saying? I dropped a video, I think a couple days ago, and they performed well on both platforms. I usually just post to TikTok and Instagram. I do need to start going to other platforms, but I posted on TikTok and Instagram. They performed. They did about like 30,000 views. You know what I'm saying? 30,000, 40,000 views. That's not bad, right? I posted today. I think that video was somewhere around like 200,000 views. Like that video went up today. It hasn't been 7 hours. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's probably been 7 hours. It hasn't been, 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? And that video is performing well. And it's like, it's just signs like that. You know what I'm saying? And like little realizations that you're not crazy for having a dream, and little realizations that if you actually pour into who you know you are, and you remove doubt, and you remove the critics, and you remove the reasons why it won't work, and you focus on the ways that it will work, and you approach problems with solutions, you really tap into a person that you were meant to be from the beginning. But you just chose not to be that person because you let all of these outside sources creep into your mind and steer you away from what you know you're meant for. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I've been at. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm locked in. You feel me? I'm locked in. Y'all gonna be seeing a lot more of me. We're back rolling. We're back going. You know what I'm saying? We back trying. We back putting the effort forth. You feel me? We staying prayed up. We staying disciplined, and we're gonna attend to this. You feel me? Like this is a part of who we are, and we're gonna continue to build upon this because there is ample opportunity to do something dope with what God has blessed me with, and that's where we're at. So thank you all for the welcomes back. Thank you all for the love. Thank you all for the support. I love you all. I see some of the people who have been tapped in for a very long time, people who I love dearly just by seeing y'all names in the chat, seeing y'all join. You know what I'm saying? Like I see a young lady who I love dearly just join. I see all types of people who I really, really love dearly, like coming in, and it's like, that's nostalgic for me. That's nostalgic for me. And it's like, with this community that I have, with this community that I cultivated, what I want to do is let y'all know what I'm thinking about, where I'm at as of today. You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I as of today? You feel what I'm saying? I'm seeing all of the people who I really, really fuck with joining right now. And it's like, I can't wait for y'all to see the new things that I've been thinking about. I can't wait for y'all to hear about the new things that I want to talk about. I can't wait for y'all to continue to grow and grow and grow up with me. Like, grow up with me. You feel me? Like, literally watch me grow up. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at. So with that being said, welcome to Heart Dumps with your boy, Maciano G. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, wait. Let me do some sound effects. By the way, I'm a one-man wrecking crew for anybody that's new. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a one-man wrecking crew. So I'm still figuring it out. So let me do some sound effects real quick. Let me see if I can figure it out. Can't figure it out, but listen. We will figure it out eventually. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. With that being said, yes. So welcome to Heart Dumps with Maciano. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to talk to y'all. I feel like the sky's the limit. I want this to be a two-sided thing. I want this to be a lot of you all talking to me in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I want this to be a lot of you all talking to me, responding back, asking questions, doing y'all thing. And I'm also just gonna go on my rants and do my thing. And we'll find a healthy balance of things to speak to that's coming directly from y'all and things to speak to that is coming directly from me. Deal? Deal. Now, here we go. I had a conversation with my grandmother. My grandma was yelling at me. And she was yelling at me because I have a father wound. I have a father wound, right? I have a father wound. And on top of that, I had a... Yeah, this is going to get deep. Are we really on Heart Dumps with Maciano? Or are we like joking? Do y'all really want like heart dumps for real? Or do y'all want me to like joke around and like act like, you feel me, like there's nothing on my heart, there's nothing on my mind? Or do y'all want to really like do this for real, for real? Because if we really want to do this, we can really do this. Y'all really? Okay. Okay, so let's do it. So my grandma called me yesterday yelling at me, right? She was mad at me. She wasn't yelling at me. She was talking to me. But it's like when the woman who you love the most talks to you and is trying to like go in on you at the same time, it feel like she yelling. But with that being said, my grandmother called me yesterday. She was yelling at me and she was basically speaking to some hurt that I have rightfully. I have father wounds. You feel what I'm saying? I got real life father wounds. And on top of that, my mother has passed away. May she rest peacefully as well. I hope she's resting peacefully. I hope she's proud of me. So my grandma calls me and she's automatically going to the Bible because she knows that like the Bible is like my source of like truth. Like if I'm going to debate somebody, if I'm going to argue with somebody, I'm going to go to the Bible. But basically, there was a situation with my dad and me and my dad, we ain't been, seeing eye to eye, whatever the case may be. We ain't been talking a lot, none of the things. And my dad ended up popping up in Dallas to see me. I was upset with my dad for a long time, for a lot of years, more years than I can even count. And I moved to Dallas in the beginning of January by myself, missing everybody, going through every emotion, all of the things. And my dad ended up popping out to Dallas to surprise me. And the first thing I did when I seen him was speak to the hurt. I spoke to the hurt. Like I spoke to what he did that I don't like. And he turned around and he walked away and he got in the car and he drove all the way back to Chicago. He was only in my building for 10 minutes. Now, mind you, I'm from the trenches. He's from the trenches. I got a pool. I got a PlayStation. I got everything that I've worked for to this point. And he pulled up and he was only here for 10 minutes because the first thing I did was speak to something negative. My grandma calls me and she's like, what does the Bible say? I had no idea what it was she was referencing, but she said, what does the Bible say? And the Bible says, honor thy father, honor thy mother. And it hits different because that's what the Bible says. But what my life says is that I only have a father. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother passed away. The only thing I have on this planet is my father. And the first thing that I thought to do was hurt him because he hurt me. And that was the biggest regret that I have as of recently. Because in all honesty, it's like, I've been out here by myself, you feel me? And I've been out here hustling too. I've been out here making it make sense, but it don't make sense if you ain't got nobody to share it with. Why didn't I use that as an opportunity to see my dad cannonball into the pool? Why didn't I use that as an opportunity for us to sit on the couch and play video games for a couple hours and laugh and joke? Why didn't I use that as an opportunity to be like, hey, look, let me show you around Dallas. Let me show you some of the things that I came across. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times people who have real life wounds, like rightful hurt, what we do is that we kind of put our way of thinking and the things that we would have done over these people who aren't thinking or doing the things that we would think or do, right? At the end of the day, my dad was a young father. You feel what I'm saying? My dad was a young father in the streets doing whatever he could to make ends meet and make it make sense for him. And I got to accept that and I got to live with that. At the end of the day, I turned out pretty well. And me holding on to what I wish he was isn't doing anything for me in this season of my life today. Because at the end of the day, I'm good. So therefore, he did something right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I genuinely apologize to my dad. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm publicly doing this because this is also something that my family wanted me to pursue. Was my content, was my creative, building out my brand, doing my thing, spreading my wings. This is something that brings them joy. I'm literally like openly speaking to my dad and saying I genuinely am sorry for our last interaction. And what I really, really want is for all of us to put together whatever is necessary and get y'all all back out here. I got a couch. I got all types of cheese for us to go ahead and get any snacks and any food that we got to. We can get all of the frozen pizzas, all of the whatever, blankets, whatever we need, whatever flights got to be booked, whatever it is, let me know. We will make it happen. I want to see my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want to see my family and I really want it to make sense. And that's the real of it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's me speaking some real shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my heart has been as of this last week. You know, like, a lot of the conversations that I'm having right now is what is there really to complain about? Real shit. My last 4-5 conversations been, what is there to complain about for real, for real? What is it that we can really point out in our life and be like, yeah, that is something that I wish like wasn't that. That is something that I can actually be upset with God about. It's nothing. Like, it really is nothing that we have in our life going on right now that we should complain about. I was reading James yesterday, and James was basically speaking about how we as humans are boastful and cocky and evil because we really truly do plan out what tomorrow may bring. We try to plan out what next week will bring and what our year-end plans will be and where we'll be in 10 years. But at the end of the day, God blessed us with today. And for us to not focus on today, yeah, you're tripping. Like, you're cocky, like you're tripping, like you're boasting, thinking that tomorrow is promised, and it's really not. You know what I'm saying? And for me to have an opportunity to reconcile everything by the success that I have, rather than pounding on my chest, being like, yeah, this is what I was able to do without you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yeah, you know, this is something that you would be able to be a part of if you were different. Rather than me doing that, you do the right thing. You feel me? Like, you honor your father. You know, I would be a fool to think that me as a dad, I will make all of the correct like, I won't make all of the correct moves. You know, I won't make all of the correct moves. I won't make all of the correct decisions. I won't know everything. I'm going to make my child cry. But imagine if you raise a child to be all of the things you want that child to be, and that child only holds on to the times that you made that child cry. Like, that would break any parent. That would break any parent for real, because these areas of your life that was supposed to be the learning curve, you viewed them and received them as trauma. But in all actuality, you feel me? I did have to teach myself how to fight. You know, I did have to teach myself how to drive. You feel me? Like, you know, I did teach myself how to run routes and how to learn ball. You feel me? I really don't know how to use every tool in the toolbox. Like, I don't, but I do know how to go take care of my business. Like, I know that I'm going to be straight. And it's like, a lot of people's fathers teach them those things. And I think that my father also taught me those things as well, but it was more so in the form of throwing me in the fire and me having to go and learn how to be a man myself, which is fine. That's cool. But that don't make my dad any less of a man than me. You feel what I'm saying? And the best thing that I can do for myself, if I really want to heal, if I really want to do some work, you feel me? Have some kids of my own, bring up some beautiful babies of my own, and teach them the game. Give them everything that I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent. Like, really, really teach them the game. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. So shout out to Stunner gang. You already saying, you already know we still H block to the world blow. I'm going to be home soon, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. I'll call you, tell you all this. You feel me? I'll put it in your ear, but everything is everything. With that being said, I feel like y'all in the chat right now trolling me. Did y'all? Yeah, y'all in the chat trolling me. But yeah, that's the hard dump. That's the hard dump. So yeah, my grandma cut up on me, and we gonna figure it out from there. But other than that, I just been chilling, and I miss my grandma too. I do miss my grandma. I love my grandma. That's the thing about grandmothers. Y'all want to know why y'all love y'all grandma so much? Is because you and your grandparents share a common enemy. Think. Let's think. Who is the common enemy? Parents. Parents are the common enemy of children and grandparents. That's why the connection between the child and the grandparent is so strong, because we both have this super, super annoying person that we really, really know the real about, and we can connect on how that person has impacted us. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why you see a lot of people's grandparents treat them the softest, like loving on them, kissing them, feeding them, and doing all of the like. It's just basically an overcorrection within the family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I don't want to take it too psychological, but that's like facts. You feel me? And I think that me and my grandmother, like that's literally like my best friend. Like I love my grandmother dearly. You feel me? We connect on a completely different level. Like on the real. I actually called her. I was like, yo, like grandma, I gotta get you to Dallas. You gotta see Dallas. You gotta see my spot. Da 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 da. And she was like, baby, I just want you to enjoy it for me, you know. I wish I can get out there, but you know I can't get on no plane. You know I can't take no trip. You know, you just enjoy it for me. Like, you know how badly I wish my grandma can come to Dallas. Hmm. You know, but at the end of the day, you feel me? You gotta lead a nest. You gotta lead a nest. My grandma told me straight up before I moved, she was like, I don't want you to leave, but I want you to leave because I want you to become who you need to become for you. You feel me? I remember when I was in college, I used to be up at 3, 4 in the morning, anxious, stomach growling, but I'm grinding. I used to text my grandma and be like, Grandma, when I make it, I'm gonna buy you the biggest house. I'm gonna take you everywhere with me. And she'd be like, LOL, baby, just make sure that you enjoying it. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, that's what a grandparent is. Like the grandparent is like that safe haven between chaos and grind. Like your grandparent is the one who you really, really want to do it for. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to my grandma. Shout out to all the grandmas. You feel me? Whenever Grandmother's Day is, I hope I ain't miss it. That'll basically discredit the whole message. But whenever Grandparents' Day is, turn up for grandma this year. Like really turn up. Put an emphasis on Grandparents' Day for sure. No cap. Let's lock that in. Let's lock that in as a community. Everybody that come across this video, I want us to lock that in. Grandparents' Day, we going bonkers. Like we taking it over the top for Grandparents' Day. No cap. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm on. No cap. No cap. Other than that, here, how's everybody doing? It says matriarchs are the backbone of every family. Yeah, I definitely think that whoever the queen of that family is, she the real deal. She really is. I think though also is that there can't be a lack of strong men in the family. So although the women are strong, there can't be a lack of strong men to complement those strong women. Because a lot of the times the women be so much more stronger than the men. And now you just got a long line of weak ass men, a long line of men getting bailed out by the women. You feel me? And that's why we hurt sometimes as a society. Certain cultures, certain colors, you feel me? I'm not going to speak on anybody specifically, but certain colors hurt as a society because a lot of times in the family, it's a long line of very strong women, women who can hustle, women who can make it make sense, women who are essentially superheroes, and then a bunch of men being enabled constantly, being bailed out of every situation and never having to ever stand on a two because they got these super down women. And it's like, we love the super down women. Like, how could you ever wish for anything different? But a lot of times, man, like if these women were actually gravitating toward men who have it together, you know what I'm saying? A lot of our families wouldn't exist. Like a lot of our lineages wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of those women would be in positions where they don't have to be that strong, you know? So that's like something that you can't backtrack. You feel me? We can't create a work back schedule for our family, right? But it can start with you. You can be the man who looks at how all of the other men in your family performed and you change the narrative. You feel me? You be the nigga who go get all his money, right? Go get all his spirit, right? You feel what I'm saying? Like go get all of his business taken together and then not taken together, put together, you feel me, like situated, all of the things, you know what I'm trying to say. And then you bring a beautiful woman into the family and you be like, yeah, it start with her. Like this is going to be the first princess. And now we're going to raise a long line of princesses. We're going to raise a long line of women who know their worth and know what it means to be in a house with a man who got it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the goal. That's like how we change the narrative of what our culture actually is. That's in my opinion. You feel me? That's the primary problem. All of the other shit is secondary to that, the nuclear family. That's in my opinion, though. That's if you ask me. Had to hop in and say, hey, friend, missed you and hope you are doing well. I miss you too. I love you. I love you. I love all y'all, honestly. I'm sorry, I ain't been in the comments. Strength is power, but the queens need their soft life too. It's like, it's not even necessarily about it being a soft life for the queen. It's more so about it being a stable life for the queen. It's more about it being, okay, cool, we're going to have the queen serve her purpose. You feel me? The queen's purpose isn't to bail everybody out. It isn't to be the person who is stepping up in every situation and has to be the person who has the answer for everything. Like everything that's going on, we got to cross reference it with the queen. It has to be kings. It has to be princes. It has to be young men. It has to be knights. It has to be all of the things a part of that family that's handling shit well before it even gets to the queen. Like well before it gets to the queen, it should go through all of this men in this family. And that don't necessarily be the case. You feel me? Like it don't necessarily be the case. But we can change the narrative, you feel me? And then again, we got to look at past generations. We can't, this is what we can't do as young people, right? This is to anybody who is young. You feel what I'm saying? I'm 25, so I think that there's a generation that I'm speaking to right now. What we can't do is look at the previous generations and think that they had all of the access to resources that we have. We got the internet, we got psychology on a completely different level. We got all of these resources that's teaching us a bunch of things that our parents would have never been able to go learn. Would have never been able to go learn. I feel like a lot of times it was either in them or it wasn't. If it wasn't in them, then it wasn't in them. But I think that there's a lot of things that they just did not know. So a lot of our parents, right? I can speak for my parents specifically. They were young parents. Comment in the chat how old your parents were when they had you. Like seriously. I want to really see like how old y'all parents were when they had you. And then I want you to ask yourself, if you don't have kids right now, or if you do have kids, fine. Ask yourself if you're ready to take on that responsibility right now. And on top of that, if you already do have a kid, is it a responsibility that you actually knew the magnitude of? You know what I'm saying? Like having kids and taking on that responsibility that young is a real life thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, something that I see happen a lot with young ladies is that when they turn 18, their parents are quick to try to put them out of the house and quick to throw them into the street so they can start working at 18. At 18, you are a baby. At 18, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. And now you're in a position where you need to go out of the house and make life make sense. And it's like, that's where a lot of failures come from. That's where a lot of failures come from, is this nudge to go figure something out well ahead of when it's an appropriate time for you to be trying to go figure it out. Other cultures don't do that. Other cultures will literally have their son, their daughter in the crib till they like 25, 26, and they can lead a crib when they have a real plan. Now, of course, you feel me? Some of it goes to the extreme, but a lot of people do it the right way. You feel me? Like my grandma, right? A black woman, she was like, look, this is always your house. I understand you in college. I understand you playing football. I understand you doing your internships. I see you grinding. You stay into this house until you make it make sense. I moved out of my grandma's house when I was 23. That was when I was ready. And on top of that, when I moved out, my grandma still looked out for me when I was 23 through 24. You know, she held on to me and she allowed me to have an opportunity for real, versus throwing these kids into the fire and then thinking that they're going to make it make sense. And it just doesn't read. That's bad parenting. That is bad parenting to me. It really is. And that's just something that I don't think is the best possible way to give your kids a chance. It's really not. Like, I think a lot of people opt out of raising their kids. They really opt out of raising their kids. Raise your kids. Like, just raise your kids. Like, if you are responsible enough to lay down and get somebody pregnant, be responsible enough to feed them, house them, make sure that they're in good health, and they have an opportunity when it's time. Like when it's actually time, they have a real opportunity to go do something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel. It says, I had my first kid at 22, and I can say, even as an adult, I wasn't ready. It took a lot of growth. It definitely takes a lot of growth. I know a lot of people who have kids, and the kid turns them into who they need to be as well. Right. So, like, I know people who had kids when they was young and turned, like in the clubs, drinking every day, all of the things, they ended up getting a baby out of that shit. But then I see when that baby turns 3, 4 years old, their life completely changes. They're not that person anymore. And it's like, it's beautiful, right? In the sense of, man, this is the way a child can change your life. But it's also sad in the sense of, you can change your life that way yourself if you choose to do it. And then when you bring a kid into the world post, kind of developing your mind and like after you're evolved a little bit more and you're more in a position of, this is who I am, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to go, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is who I am. Like when you truly have 2 feet to really stand on, and then you bring a kid into that situation, completely different ballgame, completely different kid, completely different lens of life that kid has. I feel very sorry for any kid who grew up seeing baby mama drama and like baby daddy drama and the baby dad and the baby mom fighting and have to going all over the place to be like, I really feel sorry for kids like that. And I don't want to speak, too crazy on the internet and make it seem like anybody who's come from that situation or has that situation going on. I'm not trying to be ignorant. You feel what I'm saying? But I just want y'all to see where I'm coming from as it relates to what a kid sees plays a major role. A kid cannot say any type of words that they have not heard. A kid cannot replicate any action that they have not seen. Be careful about that. That is the beauty of our generation, is that we have access to so much psychology. We have access to so many different ways of thinking and ways of going about things. Go do some research and really sit down and be like, man, this is what I want my kid to grow up seeing. Me personally, I want my kid growing up seeing love. That's just me. I want my kid growing up seeing love, genuine love. I want my kid to grow up seeing me kissing all over their mama every single day, all day, bringing their mama flowers, holding their mama hand. Anybody say something crazy to their mama, I'm treating your ass, I'm beating your ass, y'all included. This is my wife. That way, when I have a son and he grows up, he'll never let nobody play with his wife. Like, I will literally talk to my son and be like, yeah, go talk to your mama, go talk to your mama, go talk to your mama. But the minute he tweak with his mama, that's no longer his mama. That's my wife. And I got to step up and be like, hey, look, this is how you defend your wife. So he understands it. So he sees the difference. You feel what I'm saying? That's the psychology that we actually have access to as young adults now that our parents didn't. And our parents was doing a lot of the wrong things, and it formed our way of thinking. So if you were able to make it out, right? If you were able to make it out, there is no excuse of putting your future children through the same things that you went through. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all got me chopping it in here. But that's how I feel. All right, let me go through some comments, y'all. I'm sorry. It says they never wanted them to begin with, not in the way they thought at least. I see. You're really speaking on it. Sadly, the children usually ends up the one most hurt too. Should you fight for somebody after a breakup if they said, leave me alone and go heal by yourself? So that is kind of like a direct, hey, I don't want you in the life, right? But this is what I will say. Be somebody who fights for stuff. You feel me? Don't be somebody who, okay, let me give you an example, right? This is for the men. If the ladies want to hear this, if the ladies want to take this and send it to your nigga, send it to your nigga. But men, y'all understand the phrase ball up top. If we hooping and it's a bad play, it's water on the floor, it's a foul, it's some weird shit going on, whatever the case may be, ball up top, right? Now, this is the thing. You know the difference between other people's ball up top. My ball up top ain't everybody's ball up top. I'm not calling petty fouls. If the ball is sweaty, I'm hooping with that motherfucker. You feel me? My ball up top ain't everybody's ball up top. So when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your friendships, when it comes to your business, don't let your ball up top be over petty shit. Fight for everything. Keep hooping. Hoop, 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 unless you can't fucking hoop. Unless a motherfucker is literally stopping you from getting your shot off, you should keep hooping. So don't let your ball up top be over petty shit. Fight. Like literally fight. Be somebody who fights for stuff. Be somebody who sticks through it. You feel me? Be somebody who, even when your woman is tripping, you gonna wait for her to get done tripping and still say sorry. That's cool, bro. It's nothing corny about that. It's nothing corny about that. It's nothing corny about fighting for what you have and where you're at. You can turn that into where you will go. You really can, but you got to fight for it. You got to see that. You feel what I'm saying? Like a lot of people will opt out of some shit well before they even try to give it some effort. Don't be that. You feel me? Like just don't be that. You know what I'm saying? Be somebody who gonna play through the foul. Be somebody who gonna play through the foul. You feel me? Petty fouls. Now, of course, if it's a flagrant two, yeah, call your foul, folks. Call your foul. Get your ball. Go home for sure. You shouldn't be at LA Fitness hooping like that. The point I'm trying to make is, don't let your ball up top be everybody's ball up top. Okay, keep on reading these comments. Sometimes people take having a kid too lightly. Absolutely, they think that having a kid is light. This is what's crazy, right? Let me tell you how fucked up people's mindset is. People think that marriage is a bigger commitment than having a kid. People would rather have a kid than get married. Fried. You're fried. Like you're high. You're high. Literally. You're high. I believe my mom had me in her late 20s, early 30s. My parents are older. LOL. Lamaria, tell me about your parents. Are they in love? Like, what's your parent? Like, are they married? Are they in the same house? Like, what's that situation? Treating and beating is crazy. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. It's crazy because people talk that talk in orbit. They just be saying it, and then a family comes from. Yeah, the root of generational trauma. Was dealing with DV. I had to live my situation for my child, so not everyone's situation is the same. Everybody's situation is not the same. You feel what I'm saying? So now that gives me another topic to speak to. This next topic that I'm going to speak to is struggle love. Struggle love. I was having a conversation about struggle love, and the conversation was brought up, and I spoke to it, and I was like, I kind of think that struggle love is like essentially like a trauma bond where it's like, y'all both have this hurt that y'all have, and y'all can, kind of align on hurt and y'all connect on hurt. So y'all love is kind of y'all venting about how that hurt impacted y'all, and that's kind of like where y'all connect on, right? So that's like a trauma bond. But this person that I was having a conversation with said that, but struggle love is two people who are in very bad situations and all they do is continue to hurt each other as a form of that person having to show how much they love them. Very, very crazy concept. But it's like, I hope that love never finds me. Like, I genuinely hope that that love never finds me. I hope that the love that thinks them doing wrong by me will make me stand even firmer on my 10 toes for them. Like, why can't you just do right? You feel what I'm saying? Like, why can't we just do right by each other? Why can't we just love each other? Why can't we just, you feel me, have healthy boundaries and do things that way, you feel me? And then just allow ourselves to evolve in the direction that we want to evolve. You know what I'm saying? So struggle love is very dangerous, you feel me? And yeah, I ain't even gonna speak too much on that one. I ain't gonna lie. I can't even speak too much on that one. Like bringing a whole human into the world is less serious than the ring. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. That's insane. Absolutely, man. But yeah, y'all, I think that we spoke about a few things today. I've been on here for 40 minutes. It don't even feel like it's been 40 minutes, does it? It doesn't feel like it's been 40 minutes. And like I said, y'all, I'm being consistent. You feel me? So with that being consistent piece of things, you feel me? I gotta also be mindful of how long I'm on here and what I'm talking about, because at the end of the day, I gotta also drop in a couple more days. You feel me? Y'all got some long form content. So I've been recording. You feel me? If you haven't already, this is what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to go to my YouTube. I need y'all to go to YouTube. I need y'all to subscribe, right? I need y'all to like. I need y'all to comment. I need y'all to really, really help me out. You feel me? And I got some things that's in motion. I got some things behind the scenes that's being worked on that's going to elevate this whole brand. I got a creative guy who's going to be here soon. He's going to shoot me an intro. I got an engineer in Dallas who I'm going to start working with soon. So we're going to have some more professional things set up. We're going to do things a lot differently. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to really, really start pouring into this craft that we got. So with that being said, I love y'all. I really, really love y'all. Thank y'all for continuously keeping up with me. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Y'all gonna see some reels tomorrow. You feel me? So I hope that y'all like them. I hope y'all fuck with them. You feel what I'm saying? Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay. I am not in Houston. I'm in Dallas. I just keep on dropping my low. Like, yeah, gotta stop doing that. With that being said, thank you all. All right, I'm gonna holla at y'all. Peace.